Yesterday, 343 surprised the world and released the Halo Infinite multiplayer beta, completely open to the public, where now you can just go onto Steam or the Microsoft Store or Xbox, wherever you want to play Halo Infinite, and give it a download and start playing. And lucky for me, at the time of recording this video, I've probably played about 4 or 5 hours, so I wanted to go over my quick first impressions of the Halo Infinite multiplayer beta, or basically just the release of Halo Infinite's multiplayer, and also talk about some specific details that 343 mentioned during their most recent blog regarding the ongoing updates for Halo Infinite and also Season 2 in the future. So let's jump right in, and first we'll hit my first impressions. So first things first, the gameplay in Halo Infinite is still a ton of fun. If you happen to play the flights, you'll understand that, and really the gameplay here at launch is basically the same thing that we had back in the flights. I'm going to be saying at launch rather than in beta because in my opinion, this is a full release for the multiplayer because we have a good amount of content, and most notably the microtransaction store and battle pass store is all available. And in my opinion, if you're going to start charging money for those things, you're basically releasing the game at that point, and any type of title like a beta or an alpha or anything like that is just semantics at that point, because if all the money making systems are there, the game is released more or less in my eyes. So like I said, the gameplay is still a ton of fun. I mean, I enjoyed it a lot during the flight, and it really hasn't changed that much here during launch, though I do need a little bit more time to determine which maps and everything I feel are the best. I did get some time to play some of the new maps like Street and Aquarius, and some of the new BTB maps that we also got. In total, we now have 10 maps, 7 arena sized maps, and 3 BTB maps, which for something like this seems like an okay amount of maps, though, and we'll talk about this soon, I don't know how long that amount of maps is really going to hold the player base, especially with arena and BTB kind of being their own things. You're going to have BTB players that are going to mostly be playing BTB, and you're going to have arena players that are mostly going to be playing arena. So when you're spending most of your time in one playlist as opposed to the other, there's not going to be nearly as many maps as when they're all in one pool together. But that said, while I do think there's probably enough maps for launch, I definitely think the playlist variety in Halo Infinite is absolutely lacking. It seems that 343 really went for the bare bones approach here and just tried to offer a few options for players so that everyone was shoehorned into a few different playlists. This is definitely the way many other multiplayer and free-to-play games go, where you really only have a few different options, maybe a limited time mode, maybe a ranked mode, and that's about it. Halo has always been unique in the fact that we have so many different playlists and so many different options you can pick from. Now that said, we do have to consider, one of the biggest rivals to Halo Infinite, and that's going to be whatever Call of Duty game is out that year. So this year it's Vanguard, and in Vanguard there are a lot more different options you can pick from, as while Halo Infinite does have multiple different game modes, you can only select quick play, BTB, or ranked. And when you pick one of these modes, there's no way to turn off certain game modes you don't want to play or anything like that. You just have to play the mode. So basically you have 3 different playlists to pick from, with ranked having multiple different breakouts based on input, based on you want to play solo, duo, or just open. I think while I really enjoy the arena gameplay and BTB seems pretty fun, and I'm really excited to grind ranked in a Halo game again, as I haven't had that passion in quite some time, only having these 3 options might not be enough. Now something to consider is when we get those limited time events like the Fractures that we'll talk about in a little bit, those are going to add a limited time playlist to kind of add on top of these, so that will help a bit. However, I do wonder, with the content that we have on offer, is it enough to keep people wanting to play? The gameplay itself seems extremely solid, but these days players are jumping all over the place. They want to play the newest and hottest thing, and is Halo Infinite offering enough to keep those players around? On a lighter note, we got Theater at launch, which I wasn't sure if we're going to get, and Theater in this game actually seems pretty dang good. Now I didn't have a ton of time to mess with it yet, but one really cool feature, now when you load into a Theater file, it'll show you a timeline that has all of your medals throughout the game. Whenever you got a kill, whenever you died, whenever you got a double kill, a triple kill, etc. This is really nice as it makes it super easy to go back through your Theater files and figure out exactly where the best moments were. In general, I think Arena is still where Halo Infinite shines the most, just because I think that style and that scale of gameplay works the best for Halo, though Big Team Battle is still great for fans of that style of play, and I think BTB might even be a better starting point for newer Halo fans or more casual Halo fans that could struggle to get into the kind of sweatier nature of Arena. Another thing that I kind of noticed, I haven't had too much time to really delve into the balance. We'll probably do another video later on this week or even next week once I've really had time to get my hands around it and really feel out all the weapons and everything, as we did get a ton of new weapons from the flights is the commando nerf makes it pretty much useless, especially in ranked where you're already spawning with a battle rifle. I see absolutely no reason why you would pick up a commando in that case, other than to maybe have it as a secondary so you don't have to reload in the middle of a gunfight. Another interesting choice that we learned today is the way that 343 is handling ranked. They talked about this a little bit in the past, but basically you have one ranked playlist, and that's just ranked arena. Now inside of that playlist you basically have three different options. There's solo and duo queue, which is split into controller and mouse and keyboard, or there's the open queue, which allows you to queue with any size party, and in that playlist all inputs are allowed. So basically you have three different ranked playlists that all have their own rank. Well, I do think it's a really nice option to have solo duo queue, as that's something I've always really enjoyed in ranked games, as some people just don't have a full team of players. I do think it's weird that solo duo queue has to play with input-based matchmaking on, while the open queue has no option of input-based matchmaking. So it's kind of some weird choices there. To me, it almost seems a little bit random which has which, and I'll be interested to see which kind of playlist ends up being the most competitive and most highly coveted in terms of getting higher ranks, because I imagine one of the playlists is probably going to be looked higher upon than some of the other ones as we get going. I do also think while I like ranked arena, it's a little bit of a bummer to kind of lose all the other ranked playlists that we had in the past. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I really cared about people's SWAT ranks or their team snipers ranks, but things like free-for-all and team slayer and stuff like that were ranked playlists that had players that really cared about those playlists, and those are completely gone now in Halo Infinite. If you want to play ranked, you have to play team arena, which is basically just the HCS settings. On top of that, free-for-all is just gone from the game altogether. Also notable game modes that are still missing at launch, just like in Halo 5, we don't have infection, we don't have assault, along with more fun kind of game modes like VIP or some of the game modes like that. Those are all missing here at launch, though I'm not really sure how many of those you'd care to play in matchmaking anyways, since we don't have forwards to make custom maps. A few more things for my first impressions are that the aiming in this game feels really off, and I just don't know why. At times it really does feel, honestly, like I'm fighting against the game just to shoot people, and that can be really frustrating. Along with that, I honestly don't think the armor customization is really all that cool after I spent more time looking at it. I mean, don't get me wrong, playing as Emil or something from Reach is pretty sweet, but at the end of the day, it's the same Reach armor that we've been seeing for years now. It would have been cool to start Infinite with some new and cool armors as opposed to kind of the same old thing. On top of that, the way that the armor core system worked kind of stinks too, whereas like I bought the Fnatic skin because I thought the Fnatic skin was pretty cool, but you can only basically use it on the one armor core, which is kind of boring. To build on top of that, the microtransactions are also a bit egregious. There's portions where it's like $10 for a single helmet, and that's just unreal. And I do really think that it's pretty predatory on people that have to unlock everything. That kind of goes hand in hand too with the progression, which is just absolutely terrible. So I played probably 8 to 9 hours of Halo Infinite today, and I bought the more expensive battle pass, so I got the free 25 levels, but I probably only actually leveled up like 2 or 3 times because so many of my weekly challenges were BTB related, and I was mostly playing ranked with my friends, so I didn't get any of those challenges done. Sure, you can re-roll the challenges, but half the time I would re-roll a challenge and it would just give me another BTB challenge, or it would give me a challenge like kill someone with a mangler or kill someone with some other weapon that I wasn't really using in ranked. And I just hate how the challenges kind of shoehorn you into playing in a certain way, and I wish I could just rank up by playing Halo Infinite the way I want to play it. And lastly, one other thing that I want to touch about here for first impressions is just the maps, man. The maps aren't that good, and we just don't have very many of them. Aquarius is probably by far my favorite map. That one is really solid. CTF on that map is really good. However, Streets is pretty hectic, and I don't really like it. On top of that, Behemoth for some reason is in ranked, but it doesn't have any of the vehicles, which is a very odd design choice, and I'm not sure why they went with that. I don't think Behemoth should be in ranked at all, but without the vehicles, the map size is kind of funky. And that kind of leads me as a good segue to talk about this blog post from 343, and I'll kind of just read it quickly for you guys and summarize it a little bit. Basically what they say is when you start playing the beta, you're going to notice that the Battle Pass UI, that Season 1 is going to last from now until May of 2022, which is a change from their original goal of shipping a new season every 3 months. They decided to extend Season 1 to give themselves more time to ensure Season 2 meets their high quality bar, and so that they can finish development for Season 2 in a healthy and sustainable way for their team. Now don't get me wrong, I applaud that last line, as there's so so many stories of overworking game devs, and it is kind of an issue in the industry. But in this world where live service games constantly have new seasons, we're directly competing with Apex, with Call of Duty Warzone, with Fortnite, with Valorant. All those games are going to get new seasons every 3 to 4 months. We're now going to sit with this content from now until May of 2022. And like I talked about earlier, there really isn't that much content there anyways. Now it is up in the air. They're saying that season 2 isn't until May of 2022. That doesn't mean there'd be no new content between now and then. Maybe we get some maps once the game actually launches in December, or maybe they drop some content a little bit earlier. That I don't know. And we do also have the Fracture events to talk about. So here they kind of note that they aren't just stretching out their season 1 plan. They're actually taking this opportunity to add additional events, customization items, and other content to season 1 to make it a more rich experience from start to finish. Starting today, you can go and you can log in to Halo Infinite to unlock a free collection of 20th anniversary themed cosmetics, and you can see those here. They look pretty cool. So it includes the platinum anniversary coatings for your armor, your assault rifle, and your warthog. And then you can also get the I Love Bees emblems, the assembled emblems, the blue team weapon charm, and the heart emblem set. Definitely some nice things for free, but nothing too amazing or too out there if I was to give my opinion. Following this free period here, the first Fracture 10-Rai, which I'm sure I'm butchering the pronunciation of, is going to kick off on November 23rd, and this is going to be our first of multiple opportunities to earn Season 1 Samurai themed armor pieces and customization items, which you can already look at in the store. Then they go on to talk about how in January, after we've all had our chance to play the Halo Infinite campaign, which is going to come out on December 8th, and all of the team over at 343 have had the opportunity to recharge from the holidays, that's when they're going to come out and share more information about Season 1's event calendar, as well as Season 2 campaign co-op and the Forge release plans. Then they just go on to say thanks and kind of talk about all the content that is in the beta today. So don't get me wrong, I really do appreciate the transparency here and having 343 kind of come out and tell us their plans, but I do wonder, is this enough content from now until May, if nothing big drops between now and then? Also, they're going to expand upon it in January, but they haven't clarified when Co-op and Forge are going to release. If you guys remember, Co-op was supposed to come with Season 2, and Forge was supposed to come with Season 3, though maybe those plans have changed as now Season 2 has been pushed back. Maybe both of them are going to come at Season 2, or maybe one of them is going to come before Season 2. That I don't really know, as they didn't share those details today. So don't get me wrong, I really enjoy what we have today in the Halo Infinite multiplayer, but I would be lying to you guys if I said I wasn't a little bit worried that there might not be enough content there, especially if it's going to take so long for this content to trickle out. I hate kind of referring back to Halo 5 all the time, but if you guys remember, Halo 5 did have a pretty shallow launch, and it took a while for that game to feel complete and to feel finished, and Halo Infinite truly here could end up kind of feeling the same. And I just hope that players stick around long enough, or players have enough reason to stick around long enough to be able to experience all the cool content that we might have a year or two down the line. That said though, guys, right now I'm still having a blast playing Halo Infinite. I'm sure I'm gonna have a blast playing Halo Infinite for some time to come, especially with someone like me. I can grind ranked pretty much endlessly as long as I have a good ranked system, and Halo Infinite seems to have that so far from what I can tell, so I'm probably a bit easier to please than someone that wants to play a ton of different game modes and everything like that. Let me know in the comments though what you feel about this information. Do you think we have enough content? Are you worried about Season 2 being pushed out? When do you think Co-op and Forge are going to release? Or any other things you want to talk about? As always, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Follow me over on Twitch. I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and probably whenever else I feel like streaming Halo Infinite. You can also follow me over on Twitch or Instagram. And with that said, I'll see you all next time.